Hey guys, welcome to Ethan's Garage. It has been a little bit since I made a video last. I've been busy doing lots of stuff, mostly procrastinating on editing any of these videos and traveling, and I guess working there a little bit too. But I thought it would be time to finally film the first episode of this whole new series. I was kind of looking at launching for a little bit now, and I think the final name I'm going with is Insomnia Car Spotting. Basically the premise being I go out and see what kind of stuff I can do when I probably should just be sleeping late at night, mainly here in LA, but I'll do it kind of all over the world, most likely, knowing me. But for today's episode, we're going to be starting at the headquarters of Faraday Futures, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's one of the many EV startup companies. I know there's so many of them these days, but it's one of the more prominent ones, but it's also, I don't think they've put anything to production, and probably they won't ever, but who knows? I mean, it's hard to tell with these companies. But they had a bit of an incident at their headquarters yesterday involving an explosion of one of their cars. I don't know too much about it, but I'm going to go over there. It's actually relatively close, especially when it's late with no traffic. So let's dive in and see what that's all about, because I'm kind of curious. Man, I must say, LA is sure nice to drive in when there's no traffic, which you got to be doing this late at night to get that. So we're pretty close to the headquarters now. So we now have the Faraday Futures headquarters right back over there. Just going to do a U-turn and see if we can see any damage. I'm pretty curious to see if this actually ends up being noticeable or not. So we are now here. This is the Faraday's Future. I don't feel like I'm saying that wrong. Faraday Futures EV startup headquarters. And you can see the proof of that right there on the building. I know it's dark, but that is the logo right up there. And you can also see what looks to be basically police line. I'm actually surprised I only heard about this because I happen to follow this guy who's like a firefighting nerd or something like that on YouTube. I'll link the video below. But essentially what happened here is last night they got a call, LA Fire, that basically there was smoke emanating from the building, you know, pretty standard call. And it turned out that essentially one of their showroom cars just straight up detonated. Didn't even really catch fire, it just detonated. So that guy's video, I recommend you watch it after this one. Sounds like they came here expecting a fire and end up with this weird kind of like explosion investigation for this EV. It was fairly intact after all, but kind of interesting. Also, not sure what this guy's doing over here. So I just locked my car because I was realizing leaving this thing unlocked in some of the not as good bits of Los Angeles is probably stupid. So I'm going to walk around the building and see if I can see any obvious building damage. Obviously it's nighttime, so might not be the most visible. I wonder if this is anything. This is honestly kind of strange. So we got windows up here and a normal looking wall. But if you look right there, this whole piece in the center is white, like fresh kind of plaster. I don't know if that's related to the detonating car, if that's unrelated, but kind of weird. We do have more, I can't actually remember if that's police line or not, but one of the specialty don't cross lines over here. I'm starting to feel like that white spot might be the like very quick patch for it. Man, I feel bad. I want to help that guy with his car, but I can hear him trying to start it over and over again, and I know that's not really something a jump is going to help with. It sounds to me like there's actually something much deeper wrong with this car. But at least the guy got off the highway successfully. So, since the topic of this evening is the Faraday Future Company, I thought that might as well show you one of their cars. Don't know if this is going to be successful, but if you've actually seen any of my previous shorts, I've actually spotted on the road, street parked at night, a Faraday Future car, which is pretty incredible given that they're all pre-production, so there's basically probably single digits of them in existence. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of things about it, you know, rare cars are still interesting. And I think I know where I can find it. So bear with me. Hopefully we can see one in real life. If not, we'll find some other cool stuff. So this thing in front of me is definitely not a Faraday car, but it is really crazy if you're not in a place like LA or I think Phoenix too. It is pretty bizarre that there are this many truly driverless cars on the road. It's all with Waymo, who have basically bought all these Jaguar I-Paces, which is pretty funny because they bought like 20,000 of them or so, which is the same number that they sold to the public. So Jaguar definitely lucked out on that, because I don't think those things were doing too well. Well, well, well. Not to brag, but I'm pretty good at this. Found it. I knew it. And this is all while I was being a complete dumbass and didn't actually pinpoint where this was, even though I meant to make another video about it. Let me park for a second to get a better view. Check this out. Pretty fun color in the Boxster. Almost definitely wrap, but very vibrant. But let's go check out that weird EV. So I gotta be honest, I definitely was starting to lose hope there and kind of worrying that I might not actually find what I was looking for and would have to take a different direction for the video, but my navigation skills have saved me. And here we go. This is it. The FF91 from Faraday. So from what I've researched, I think basically this car, or one of the other prototypes just like it, is what detonated last night. Obviously I don't know all the details, so don't take my word for it completely, but maybe I shouldn't be standing this close, but interesting car to see. I remember just such a head turner when I first saw it. I don't know if I really like this design, but it is kind of cool to see things with such a different design out here in the wild. And especially too, it's always a pleasure to see manufacturer plates. You know, no matter what it is, it's always an interesting time. And I see manufacturer plates pretty much day in, day out here. And as you can see, actually pretty funky interior. Got the very interesting looking wheel. I actually do kind of like that. And then the dashboard is oddly far away, with then the screen right in the center. Pretty interesting. But I'm kind of glad I was able to actually find this successfully and round out my little Faraday story there. So let me know what you guys think of this car in the comments. But I think it's time to go look at some other cool cars. That's a bit of a rare sighting there. An old Camry wagon. And I wouldn't mind having one of those. Alright, so let's now play Name That Neighborhood. I will give you a hint. I must say, I kind of love the wheels in this Porsche Cayenne Coupe. I think I've seen them before, maybe, but I think they're like a subtle, newer variation. Not bad. So I'm over here by the beach right now in Venice, looking for a few more cars before I call it quits for the night. I must say, maybe it's because I was on the East Coast just a few days ago, so I might be on the wrong time zone still, but the whole insomnia part of this isn't working, as I am ready for bed. Usually I'm not, but damn, I'm tired today. We've got an interesting little piece of art right here. It looks like an ironing board with a fan. Interesting. I'm not sure what to think of that. That's a slightly rare car, sort of. That's the Mini Cooper Coupe. Always kind of a weird car. I think it was basically designed after a baseball hat backwards. I don't know how well they sold. I'm actually kind of curious to look that up now. We naturally have a G-Class over there, because, you know, it wouldn't be Los Angeles without that. But it's reminding me, I did a video in one of the close-by neighborhoods to this a few months ago in Marina del Rey, and I spotted a G36 AMG. If you don't know what that is, I recommend that video. I will link it somewhere up above. But I had a blast filming that video, and that car is crazy rare and crazy cool, so go check that out. Here's a funny question for the viewers. This whole thing of building outdoor seating out into the streets, into parking spaces, when did that start? Because it didn't happen when I was a kid, I don't think, but it's definitely been around for a good bit of time now. Check out the old Beetle. Kind of love the color. Reminds me of a early 911 I saw in a similar color a few months ago. And on the topic of Volkswagens, check this thing out. Old Volkswagen bus with enough surfboards for a whole family. A big family, too. We got another bug. They are pretty common out here. People genuinely just kind of daily drive these things still. It's kind of a fun thing about California. Alright, so I'm going to pull over for a second because me being a weird nerd when it comes to cars just spotted something that looks totally mundane, but me, of course, knowing probably too much about cars, it's actually super rare. So before I show you the extra special thing, what do you think is under the wrap here? My guess, probably Corvette. Alright, so the weird, kind of cool car in question is this. It may look like a normal smart car, but I think this guy actually added on the Mercedes badges. This is actually the super rare, at least in the US, first generation smart car. They did sort of import them. I do believe they were probably gray market imports. I've done all the looking into how these things were imported a little while back, but I forget all the details. I think they if I remember correctly, imported 2,500 of the first gen, and then in 2007 or so, actually started importing them like officially. Now they're discontinued. The factory that made this is now actually being used for the Ineos Grenadier and all that. So I'm actually a big fan of these. I would love to get one of these. Not what I was expecting to see on this side street. Also, shout out to the Toyota Previa, an old, probably diesel S-Class. Nice little lineup. Well, it looks like the cool cars continue. Got an old Volkswagen Rabbit Cabriolet and a Datsun, I want to say it's a 510 wagon. Beautiful car. So with this nice 727 nose cone as a nice background for my outro, I want to thank you guys all for joining me for the first of this new kind of Insomnia car spotting series I've been meaning to make for a while. So if you guys have any feedback, I'd love to hear it below. And let me know of all the stuff you saw, or if you have any more information about the whole Faraday detonating thing. I'd love to hear it. But if you want more aviation content too, let me know. But with that, I will see you guys in the next one. I gotta go to bed.